My husband and I both work off-farm jobs. How are we able to do everything that we do here on our homestead in a year? Keep bees, raise all our own meat, grow a vegetable garden, sell at the farmer's market, and work off-farm jobs? What does it take? Welcome to 1 year on our farm. It's a foggy January morning. There's something about the fog that I love. And here I am out doing farm chores in a hoodie. It's just below 50 degrees Fahrenheit. It's pretty comfortable. When people talk about the changes in weather, I usually say, welcome to Missouri, where you can have all 4 seasons in 1 week and sometimes even in 1 day. January is also the time of year when I sit down and set new goals. This chalkboard is in the entryway of our house, in our kitchen, and so I look at it every day when I come in. And these are the goals that I have set for 2023. 60 degrees yesterday afternoon. The cows are still hungry. The calves are, well, all the animals are still hungry. No matter the weather, they want to be fed. These guys are not really starving to death, even though they're acting like it. They act like this every single time they're fed. And in fact, calves will not self-regulate. So if you're bottle feeding calves, you have to stop them. If you feed them too much milk because they're acting hungry, they will actually get what is called the scours in calves, which is basically diarrhea. Very, very unhealthy for them. Our neighbor is a cattle rancher, and often his cows will drop twins. And when they do that, occasionally the mom will accept one and reject the other one. So during calving season, which for our neighbor is in December, he goes out and he checks every night looking for calves. And when he finds one of these abandoned twins that's alive and viable, then he will often text us and ask us if we want a bottle baby. And so for those of you who were watching our videos in December, we posted a couple live updates when we got our first one. It was a really cold day. We couldn't get him warmed up enough in our barn. And so we ended up with him in our garage overnight. Got him drinking, got him warmed up, dried off, all that kind of stuff. The very next day was Sunday. We moved him out to the barn after church. He was doing great. And about that time, we get a call or a text from our neighbor saying, I've got another one. Are you interested? And we said, yes, we are. Chris named the first one Nelson. And then when the second one turned out to be a heifer, I was like, well, then we have to have Harriet, right? So that's how we ended up with our 2 new Angus calves, Harriet and Nelson. One thing that has to be done every time it's cold outside is changing out the bunnies' water. Once it gets where it's freezing overnight, I bring them out of fresh water in the morning. And then if it's going to stay below freezing all day, I'll come back about the middle of the day and change it out. Maybe twice a day, depending on the weather and the forecast. The rabbits do really well in the cold. They are wearing fur coats. So I just make sure they have plenty of hay to burrow down in their little enclosed part of their tractors and in their nesting boxes. I spy a kitty nest. Hi, baby girl. Good morning. Are you still cozied up down in there? We also had the surprise of this barn cat showing up. Hi, pretty kitty. Are you coming to see me? You can live in our barn and hunt mice. She's super sweet. She's so pretty too. As soon as she gets a little bit bigger, and I'm pretty sure she's past that 6 months mark, I'm gonna take her in and have her spayed at the vet so that we don't end up with a bunch of barn cats that we don't need. I want to be a responsible caretaker of our barn cat. But I don't really think of myself as her owner. I think of her as a farm cat, right? So she's just one of the animals, the livestock on the farm, and she serves a purpose. She's gonna hunt mice and rats and other critters around the chicken coops and in the barn. So far, I've seen her in the garden. I've seen her around the chicken coops. I've seen her at the barn. I saw her the other day on top of the barn. So she is free to hunt around here as long as she wants, and she's just super, super sweet. Yeah, you should stay back. You need to stay in the barn. You can't follow me home. Oh, look at those kitty snuggles. Look at those kitty snuggles. While the calves are having their bottles, I take this time to remove any soiled hay from their stall and then replace it with fresh hay for the new day. Then I put grain in their trough so that they can eat that when they're done with their milk. Come on, buddy. Come on. Hey, cow. Come eat your grain. Go eat your grain. Harriet's got it figured out. Mornings in the barn are definitely my favorite time of day. Sometimes in winter, getting home means going out to do chores in the dark. I'm tired. It's been a long day. So if you're going to be homesteading and you're not going to be able to do it full time yet, and you're going to have to work off farm, that's something you want to think about is what can you afford to do, like in your off hours, because your time is one of your resources, right? So what are you willing to give up in order to get home and get outside and take care of animals? Walking out the hoses is one of our least favorite winter farm activities. What happens is in the summer we have an automatic water thing. Anyway, it sits in the cow's water tank and the hose stays attached to it. The hose stays on, and when it gets full, it has a float, and the water pushes the float up, the water stops, so it can constantly refill itself. So we're never having to drag hoses around in the summer. In the winter, it's a different story. Anytime the temperature drops below freezing, any water left in the hoses will freeze, and then you can't give water to fill the cows' tanks, the chicken waters, etc. the next day. So we have to walk hand over hand like this, because that will help all the water drain completely out of the hoses, so the hose is empty and able to use the next day. When we come out and feed our animals, it's not just about giving them food. We also do visual inspection. So we're looking over them, making sure they don't have any injuries, making sure that their weight gain looks appropriate for their age, making sure that they don't have what in cows is called the scours, which just means diarrhea, which can be an indication of an illness or worms or different things like that. So we do that, we check them out, and we love on them and make sure everything is good and that they're growing as they should be. Saturday morning, I'm making a feed store run. No sleeping in for this girl. I would love to show you our beautiful little snow-covered valley. There's my mom's house and the goat pen. Then there's the cow barn where the calves are, and the hay is stored down there. There's our 3 cows eating hay. They have a run-in over there where they can get in and out of the weather if they want to. Our pig pen, which is empty because we don't have any pigs right now. And back there is our little valley where the creek runs down, and you can see the sunset over those hills. It's just beautiful. Here's our fruit orchard and our beehives, our house, and our garden. And I just realized our garden is the same length as our house. It's just facing a different direction, but not quite as wide. And then just there over that back corner of the house is our chicken coop and our rabbit ahead, and our rabbit tractors are over there too. Looks like the rabbits made it through the snow just fine. They've got plenty of hay in their hutches, and gonna give them some fresh water bottles this morning. We got about 3 inches of snow, I think. Some people up in town got about 6 inches. This is a real wet, heavy snow. It's not nice and fluffy at all. It's pretty to look at though. Chris and I are both working from home today. It's a snowy, slushy day outside, and neither of us were able to get into our off-farm job, so he can work his off-farm job for home. But for me, working from home means working on the farmy things. So today I'm going to be getting myself ready to start my garden. It's January, but I will be starting seeds indoors in the next week or two. So I'm gonna go through this room, which is my indoor seed starting room, and I'm gonna just kind of take inventory of what I need to get and what I have. In that, I'm going to be looking at my supplies, like my containers and things that I'm going to be planting in. I'm also going to sit down with my seeds and my seed inventory spreadsheet, making sure it's up to date and see if I need to order any seeds. And I'm gonna look at my planting material, because I actually mix my own seed starting mix, my own soil. So I'm gonna make sure I have everything I need for that. I try not to schedule myself to work too early in the morning, but sometimes it can't be helped. And in that case, the headlights of a car or a 4x4 or something like that can be really helpful for doing early morning chores. In fact, I can see on the hillside across the pasture the headlights of my neighbor out taking care of his cows before he goes into work this morning. The sun is just starting to crest the hill, and it's gorgeous. It looks like it's going to be another beautiful day. We're going to warm up into the 50s today, so that's nice, but it's a chilly 23 degrees this morning. There's our house. Home sweet home. Smoke coming out of the chimney. Chris has started a fire for me. He got up early this morning. I love when he does that. He warms the house up. He gets the coals going from the night before and gets the fire blazing, so our house is not so cold when I have to get up early and come outside and do farm chores. That's how January has been here at Plan B Orchard and Farm. See you next month.